Hello everyone, CLACKA the GEEK here, welcome back to a brand new video, and today I'm going to be doing another ranking video where I'm going to be ranking all of the modern Doctor Who companions from worst to best. Now, I haven't really done a video on the companions really on the channel before, even though they are a very important part of the show. They are like the audience identification point in the show, but I've just never got around to talking about them, which is a shame because I wanted to. But yeah, today I'm going to be ranking the modern Doctor Who companions. We've got 14 of them, so let's just get to the ranking. In last place we have CLARA Oswald. Sorry for my terrible Capaldi impression. Now, if I'm being honest, I actually quite liked her in Series 7, alongside Matt Smith. I think they had quite good chemistry, and I found the Impossible Girl arc pretty interesting. It was quite intriguing. However, when that wrapped up, because her character wasn't very deep, you don't really have much after that. So you get to Series 8, which is pretty much just the Clara show, Like, she's made out to be far too special, In deep breath, she's like, oh, this isn't the Doctor anymore. Why is she saying that stuff? Like, the Doctor, she knows the Doctor can regenerate, so why is she not taking to Capaldi's Doctor? She knows this. Then you have the romance stuff with Danny Pink, which I just don't buy at all. Like, they don't really have that good chemistry, and they're barely on screen, And the amount of times that Clara in Series 8 is at Capaldi's throat, like, arguing in, like, the Caretaker and Kill the Moon, and that scene in Dark Water when she's threatening to melt the TARDIS key in the lava, it's just, no, I just don't like her there. Also, the amount of departures that she has, like, she leaves at the end of Series 8, then she comes back for the Christmas special, which is meant to leave there, then she comes back for Series 9, and like and then in Series 9 she's practically another Doctor on the Doctor's level. She's an equal. No, that's not what the companion should really be if they're a human. Like, I don't like that angle. But then Face the Raven, she gets killed off, despite the fact that at this point I just really don't like Clara's character. I actually thought that was very emotional. But then you get to Hellbent, which I just despise. It is my least favourite Doctor Who story ever. Brought back, just completely ruins that episode. Damages the Doctor's character by making him, risking all of time just to save her. It's ridiculous. And she's just made out to be so too special. It's just ridiculous. I just don't like her. At number 13, we have one of the 13th Doctor's companions, Ryan Sinclair. Now, Ryan could have very easily been at the bottom of the list. He doesn't. He feels really just dull, bland, and kind of pointless, to be honest. Especially in Series 12. Like, at least in Series 11, there's something I can give him. He had the getting over the death of Grace arc, but I think that was done better with Graham. Ryan sort of fell a bit like in the middle, and then when you get to Series 12, he literally is completely pointless. He doesn't have any impact on any of the episodes, and I also think that Tosin Cole's acting in his Sheffield accent and like some of the cringy dialogue, it's really not that good. However, the reason he comes last place is because he doesn't anger me like Clara does. I find it boring and a bit irritating, but not infuriating. In 12th place, we have YASMIN Khan, another one of the current companions. Now, I know everybody said this, but in Series 11, she was pointless. Graham and Ryan, they had the getting over the death of Grace arc, and this just leaves Yaz as just a third wheel with nothing to do other than stand around and ask the Doctor what's going on. That's pretty much all she did in Series 11. However, Series 12 definitely improved on her, In Spyfall, I thought she was very well used, and Mandip Gill really got to show off her acting talent, especially in the first part when she's confronting Daniel Barton. That was a very good scene. And obviously, Can You Hear Me? Her, sort of backstory stuff, and the scenes of that police officer who helped her was genuinely incredible. I loved that scene. So that's why she's above Ryan. And also I think Mandip Gill is a good actor. So that's why I've put her above Ryan. But still, I don't feel that much towards her, like Ryan. Next up we have Rose Tyler. Now, I'm going to get absolutely slaughtered by the comment section, but hear me out. Now, in Series 1, I thought she was great. She was the first companion of the Bond series, and she had to sort of, redefine what the companion was, make it more contemporary and fit Ross Davis' vision of what he wanted modern Doctor Who to be. And I thought she bounced off of Christopher Eccleston very well. They had very good chemistry, and she felt real, she felt normal, relatable. But then you get to Series 2, where David Tennant's introduced, and that's where the whole romance aspect is introduced, and I do not like it. I don't like the Doctor really being romantic with people. You know, I don't like it, and honestly, Rose was really just irritating in Series 2, and not only was she irritating, but she made the 10th Doctor irritating for me, personally. And, you know, it all culminates in Doomsday with that soppy stuff on the beach, which I just don't like, alright? It's just ridiculous, I find. At 10th place, we have River Song. Now, this is where we start to get to the companions that I really do like. So, when she was first introduced in Series 4, she was really interesting, you know. She pretty much laid the groundwork of what the Stephen Moffat era was going to be like, you know, very fairy tale. And I thought she was a really interesting character. And for the most part, during her time on the show, she was very interesting. And her high dynamic with the 10th, 11th and 12th Doctors were really good. However, my main problem with River Song is the way Stephen Moffat sometimes write, you know, sometimes he'd write her as too flirty and too sexy. I mean, that's a problem with a lot of Moffat female characters, but none more so than River. But other than that, I do really like her as a companion. Next up, we have Rory Williams. Now, I really wanted to put Rory higher because I genuinely do love him as a companion, and I love his... you kind of feel sorry for him because of how Amy treats him. He's like the third wheel with the 11th Doctor and Amy. And yeah, I think in Series 6 he really gets better, but I couldn't really put him any higher, but still, he's a brilliant companion. Next up we have Mickey Smith. Again, he's like Rory. I wanted to put him higher because he's so lovable, and Noel Clarke gives a great performance every time. You know, in Series 1 he is quite a coward, he's a bit of a wimp, he's a bit of an idiot. But then by Series 2 he's really coming to his own, like the Sideman two-parter. He's brilliant, he's so like badass, and it's just awesome. At number 7 we have Nardole. Now this might be quite a surprising choice, but remember, Series 10 was my first series, and Nardole was pretty much my first companion. You know, Return of Dr. Mysterious was the first one I saw on broadcast, so he was my first companion. Now I remember when everybody was so apprehensive of him being a full-time companion in Series 10. Like, this idiot from the Husbands of a Song, why is he made a companion? But he really works, you know, he's funny, he's quite lovable, but also really serious, you know. And I love the scene, I love him and Peter Capaldi and Bill as well. They're just such a great TARDIS team. And his exit in The Doctor Falls is just brilliant. Like, it's so understated, but it's just really sad. In 6th place we have Graham, played by Bradley Walsh. Again, like Nardole, everyone was so apprehensive of Bradley Walsh being in Doctor Who, you know. How can the guy from The Chase be Doctor Who's companion? But Bradley Walsh proved himself to everyone. He's so sincere when it comes to performance, you know. He's so funny, and every time he's on screen, when he's making jokes and just being around, he always puts a massive smile on my face. But his character arc is really deep, and it's very well done. The arc of him getting over Grace in Series 11 was one of the highlights of that series, and Bradley Walsh's performance was fantastic in that. And although in Series 12 he didn't really do a whole lot, he was still fun to watch. At number 5 we've got Amy Pond. I really like Amy Pond as a companion, you know. Like, she's got a really interesting relationship with the Doctor, you know. She knew him as a kid, and, you know, the Doctor was her imaginary friend. That's a really cool dynamic to have. It changes it up a bit from the previous New Who companions, and it's also very fairy tale, which is the vibe that the Moffat era wanted to go in. And then in Series 6, you know, she goes through a lot of trials and tribulations, you know, with, like, sort of losing trust of the Doctor. It's really interesting to watch, you know, and obviously her with Rory, you know, in their marriage and stuff. It's really interesting stuff to watch, and Karen Gillan is a fantastic actor, and her talent really comes across on screen every time. And before we have Martha Jones. Now, I love Martha Jones. I don't think the companion sort of rebound arc, I don't like that sort of stuff, but I do think she's a great companion. You know, I love how smart she is. Like, she's more intelligent, independent, and then there's certain stories like the Human Nature Family Blood two-parter, which really tests her and shows how good she can be, you know, without being all the lovey-dovey stuff with the Doctor. At number 3 we have Bill Potts. Of course she was going to be high up on the list because she was my first companion, as Series 10 was my first series. Now, I remember before Series 10 started, everyone was dreading the worst of Bill because it was like, oh, another woman from London. It's like, oh my god. But she was normal. After having all these special companions, Bill was just normal. She was relatable. She was likeable. Pearl Mackie's performance was fantastic. And, you know, she was the perfect companion to get me into the show. So I'll always be grateful for that. At number 2, we have Captain Jack Harkness. That's a terrible impression. Captain Jack's a really interesting companion, you know, being part of the Time Agency. That's always been really interesting to me. And in series 1, that's those later episodes with the Ninth Doctor, Rose and Jack. I love that TARDIS trio, and I love those episodes, and Jack was great there. You know, his development, you know, was brilliant. Then you get series 3, and I love his return in that, and same with series 4, you know, they're really great. And John Barrowman always gives a fantastic performance in my opinion, and I just think he's a great character. And number 1, we have Donna Noble. Oh my gosh, Donna is just perfect. Like, Catherine Tate is just a fantastic actress, and every episode is a joy to watch. You know, she's so funny, she's so likeable, she's so normal, relatable, and her dynamic with Tennant is brilliant. You know, there's none of this romance stuff, I hate that. It's just best friends travelling the universe, and that's all I want, and it's perfect. And her exit is easily the saddest in the modern series. It's beautiful.